This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Yes, welcome to the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I am your host, covering everything sport, international, local. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority. You're watching us on YouTube, on Pulse 95 Radio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here on the show today. What's coming up on the show today? Right, Sharjah Women's Sports has always tried to set the benchmark on staying active and promoting women's sport. There's an exciting tournament real soon in Khorfakkan, which we'll be covering on the show by speaking to the international UAE basketball player Alyazia Alsuwaidi. She will be on the show on the first segment. The international player and athlete will give us an update on where you can catch them, which is going to happen on the 6th of April in Khorfakkan, which will be very, very exciting to get back on track when it comes down to women's sports. That's one thing. We're also talking about, we all have goals, but do we have a why factor identified? And if so, why do you want to do that? For example, why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to gain muscle? Is it for validation? Is it for personal preference? Will that necessarily make you happy? We're talking about that today on the show, on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I am your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. Hope you've had an incredible week. And I hope I'm going to make it better in the next hour. Right, okay, so a couple of good things on here. We've got Alyazia Alsuwaidi. Now, you may remember her, right? Because I remember her very well. She's been a good friend of mine who I've never actually met in person. However, she's someone that has a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for her in what she's done in sports and what she's doing for the community and what she's doing for Sharjah. Sharjah Women's Sports have always tried to set the benchmark on staying active and promoting women's sport. And this is why I'm so excited to speak to the basketball player and overall athlete, Alyazia Alsuwaidi. Alyazia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wow, it's been a long time, huh?
It's been a while. Nice to hear back.
How you been?
I've been very well, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Now, Alyazia, tell me, we've got an event coming up on the 6th of April in Khorfakkan. What's happening in the world of Sharjah Women's Sports? Tell me.
So on the 6th of April, next week, we're going to have a basketball tournament run by Sharjah Women's Sports. We're the organizers. And it's going to be an open tournament at 5 p.m. in Khorfakkan Beach.
Nice.
So it's going to be a huge tournament. It's very cool. It's going to be outdoors. And what's special about this tournament is that it is open and the players get to register on FIBA 3x3, the official website, so that they can collect points, so that they can go bigger and better every year.
Nice.
Internationally.
And is it different when it comes down to 3x3 compared to the normal game?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was saying, is it different when it's a 3x3 compared to your normal basketball game? Is it a different tactic?
Oh, completely.
Tell me how.
Completely different.
Tell me how.
Well, first of all, you have to be 10 times fitter because you're doing everything. Even though it's half court,
yeah.
You have to be incredibly fit. You have to be incredibly skilled because you have so much more space to actually show your skills.
Right.
So it's completely different.
So fitness has got to be up, strategy's got to be up, and also you're going to be outdoors. So you're going to have to be nice and well hydrated and conditioned to be able to cope with the weather, right?
Basically, especially now because it's practically summer.
Right.
So you have to be completely ready for this.
Right. So have you been training outside or have you been training indoors for this tournament?
No, we haven't been training outside. We've only been training indoors.
Okay.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Every year, whenever there's a tournament outside, the team does very well. They're able to completely knock it off, do very, very well every time. So I'm very happy with that.
Amazing, amazing. And how have things developed over the last season? I know we spoke last season about, all the great stuff you guys were doing. How have things changed or at least evolved since the last time we spoke?
Honestly, not much. It's been very stable since the last time we spoke. COVID has basically slowed things down in every sport, I would say. Yeah. But I'm very happy to see that starting now, people are especially in Sharjah Women's Sports, they're all coming up with new events.
Yeah.
And everything is resuming again like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, and I can tell by your voice as well. You're excited. You know, it's time.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be one of the organizers for this tournament. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. What does it mean to be back in action? You know, like you said, things were kind of a little bit stale and there were restrictions, but now there's this new wave of getting back to everything. What's it been like?
Well, honestly, after the very slow year, now that everything is back, we have a great plan here in Sharjah Women's Sports, post-COVID, I guess you can say, or almost post-COVID. We have this great tournament happening next week. We have a few more happening in Ramadan, and then it's going to be off-season, and then it's going to be back in action for next season, inshallah.
Inshallah,
So we're very excited for all of these plans happening here.
And I got to ask you as well, because obviously I know that you're quite the basketball player yourself. Organizing this tournament, are you going to get involved, or are you just going to be organizing?
See, the thing is that I just got asked this question by one of the people here.
Yeah.
So I think that by the end of the day, I'm going to decide on that. Honestly, it doesn't make a difference because you have 10 amazing teams participating in this event. So it doesn't really make a difference, does it? So either way, it's going to be a great event.
Well, I mean, I thought you were going to drop the exclusive and tell your favorite radio host, listen, Omar, I think I'm going to do this. And then instead you were like, don't worry. What? We still got 10 amazing...
I might text you.
Okay, right. So once you text me, I'm going to reveal it to the whole world, including Sharjah, that she is going to be taking part in the 3x3 tournament on the 6th of April for Sharjah Women's Sports. Inshallah. I like the fact that you have that balance between obviously the organization, which is making sure everything's in check. Obviously, you've had experience in the sport. Plus, sometimes we just itch to get involved in sports that we love. So I'm looking forward to hearing your response very, very soon. Well, you haven't got that much time, Alyazia. It's a week away, you know. You know what? The only reason why I am able to balance is because, alhamdulillah, I have such a great team here in the office with me in Sharjah Women's Sports. Our department is called Sports Development, and they are amazing when it comes to helping me balance between both. Right. They're very helpful. I'm in love with them and their strategy. I'm in love with the way that they think and how supportive they are. Right. Of all the athletes in general we have here in Sharjah Women's Sports. Yeah. It is amazing. What are their names? Can you throw me some names? I want to give them some shout outs on the radio. Go and tell me.
Noor Al-Hamar,
okay.
Awatif Al-Halabi,
okay.
and Hind Al-Hosani.
Nice.
Nada Askar. Okay. These four people, Nada Askar is the Director General Manager of Sharjah Women's Sports. She basically supports and handles everything happening here. She supports women in sports. She comes up with the strategies. So she basically created and planned this place for us.
Wow. Well, listen, shout out to your whole team. A great job on getting back into everything. You know, it's been obviously challenging for all of us to be able to watch or take part or do anything in sport. And now Sharjah Women's Sports have brought back the fun, and I can't wait. I'm excited for you guys. I hope everything is even better than expected. And also, before I let you go, you said that they will be able to record their results, was it, or their scores for the following season?
So yes, so what happens is for anyone that is interested in being part of this tournament, they can just send a direct message on Instagram to SHJWS, and they'll directly let you contact me, and I'll help you with the registration. You will have to go on FIBA 3x3 to sign up there so that you're able to collect points in the future for all tournaments. Perfect. 3x3 in general.
Perfect. You see, you almost know exactly what to say, when to say it, you know? It's like you've been with me for a while, you know? So this is great.
I'm trying.
So everyone that was listening, you now know where you can find out more information on it. They've obviously also got an Instagram. Make sure you head over to there and check out all the great stuff they're doing. Register, get involved, stay active, and do your thing, because you know what? It's great to have these kind of campaigns around. And now that the new wave, post-COVID, we want to put that stuff behind us. We want to put the C word behind us. Now that we're post-COVID, Alyazia and the whole team have put on some fantastic things coming up. So make sure you find that's going to be on the 6th of April in Khorfakkan. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
fantastic. Alyazia, you've been great as always when it comes down to us catching up. I'm sure we're going to have a catch up, and you're going to let me know if you're going to be involved in the tournament.
Inshallah, I'll let you know.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Alyazia. Guys, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after this. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Alyazia, take care.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Thank you very much for joining the conversation with us today. Now, if you just missed the first segment, we were talking about Sharjah women's sports, and Alyazia Alsuwaidi was on the show, the international basketball player from the UAE, telling us all about the great stuff and maybe an exclusive of whether she will be playing at the tournament she's organizing in Khorfakkan on April the 6th. Make sure you go down, support, and if you are keen on sports and you're keen on basketball, it's a 3-on-3 tournament, head down there and represent. It's going to be good. Right, couple of things happening. On Saturday, there'll be a live show. I will be doing that, and I'm covering the Red Bull event. Very, very cool stuff happening. The Neymar Juniors game is going to be on. I'm going to go down there, and I happen to know one or two of the footballers who are going to be there at the event on Saturday. Head down and support. It's going to be good because I like to see people match up against the world, and there's a lot of good things when it comes down to small-sided games. There's a lot of precision in there. There's a lot of tactics, passing, moving, being able to take the right touch. All these kind of things is going to be good. So I kind of feel very happy that I'm going to be, let's say, I don't want to say I'm going to be judging, because I'm not judging. I'm just kind of watching and observing is the word, the tournament. So that's going to be good. So make sure you head down. There's going to be a special show on Saturday. I will be there covering the Red Bull event, which is going to be fantastic. Right, a couple of other things as well that's happening. There's a lot of things happening in Pakistan at the moment with the Football Federation. Women have gone out to Pakistan to be able to represent the national sides there to make and form the international team under the FIFA umbrella. Now, it's been spoken about quite a bit because there is a lot of politics involved in the situation, and in doing so, here's what's going to happen. The old regime and the new regime have, I would say, clashed in the directions that the Pakistani Football Federation is going at. Now, who better to interview than the international women's football team from Pakistan? So I'm going to have 4 to 5 players, tell me what's going on, because they are there right now in Pakistan in this tournament. The semi-finals are going to be tomorrow. So hopefully, by the time I have the interview, we'll know who's going to be in the final. And there's a lot of politics, especially with them not being able to play. Now, see, we speak about women's sports, we speak about development in women's sports, but sometimes when politics gets in the way, it's very, very hard to be able to accept this, because there's a legacy. Normally the first people that enter a sport or represent in their sport, be it male or female, there's always this kind of legacy behind them. This was the first team to come out of that country, whether it's Africa or Asia or Europe or South America, wherever it is. You always remember the first team. Now, right now, the Pakistani international football team are setting out to create a legacy for the future generations to come and go through the system. However, due to complications, the tournament was put on hold and now it's back on again. But some of the players have chosen not to play, to stand up for what they believe in terms of principle, in terms of morals. And this is where the clash happens when it comes down to these things. So I'm going to be interviewing the international football team from Pakistan for the Saturday show. So make sure you head over to YouTube and check it out at 3 p.m. It's going to be there on YouTube, on the Pulse 95 Radio YouTube channel. You're going to find me interviewing the athletes from the international Pakistani team, which is going to be fantastic. I'm very excited to see, because obviously Maria is out there who represents the national team, and she's told me all about it. But I thought, what better than speak to the national team and see all the challenges they're facing, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That will be Saturday. And then afterwards, we're going to be at the Red Bull event checking out the Neymar Juniors tournament, which is going to have the best players around the world here representing the five-a-side. So it's going to be good. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in on the Instagram Live. Thank you very much for connecting. You got Adil, Justin, Dino's here, Almas, Dali. You've got Anita, Abdul Qadir, Saad, Ibrahim. Wow, this Masoud is asking what he's missed. Terry, Benoit, and who else? AJ, of course. Thank you very much for connecting. And Zeruni, of course. My people. Right, thank you very much for connecting. We'll be right back after the break. You know what? Let's play some Burna Boy. Yep, you heard it.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Right, so a couple of things. And Save, thank you for the comment. A lot of things have come onto the surface when it comes to media. Social media, obviously, as we know, has the power that it has to be able to influence a lot of people. And in that influence comes, principle, morals, what you stand for, so many different things. We spoke about that in the interview that we'll be doing on Saturday, 3 p.m. UAE time on YouTube and on pulse95radio.com. You're going to see me interviewing the Pakistani international women's football team, who are going to be discussing the sports politics and their stand on why they're not going to be completing the tournament as players, even though the team is still going to be playing. Thierry Henry is another one who stepped off social media to be able to stand for what he believes in, because racism is something that is still highlighted and targeted every single day, and people are not being punished for it. So those are a couple of things. But here's the thing. When you think about, racism, when you think about these people making the stand, like what Thierry Henry did basically was really, really good, because Thierry Henry is a voice in FIFA. He's a voice in football. He's someone that has played the game at the highest level, won a World Cup, won leagues and Champions League and everything. He's done everything. So Thierry's done everything. He stepped off social media and said, I'm not returning back to social media until things are resumed. If they have the right to take off someone for copyright on YouTube or on a social media platform because they're using someone else's music, they can clearly punish racism. But so let's look at it like this. Out of the top 10 most followed athletes in the world, how many of those are footballers? There's a question for you. 4215 Ittasalat or slide into my DMs at Omar Al-Duri and let me know. How many of those top 10 athletes, don't Google it, top 10 athletes are footballers? Because you see, Thierry Henry's stance for standing up for racism and stepping off social media to disengage with that because of his morals and beliefs will get washed under if people don't follow suit and stay united with him to be able to create this wave of, principle, morals. From those people, when you look at that, if the footballers that do engage, that are the brands nowadays, you see them all over the world. If those footballers are not standing with Thierry Henry, then therefore they're not going to do that. You see, they're not going to be able to keep that message going about Black Lives Matter, about racism, about the abuse that people get online. Let me tell you now, out of those people in the world, there's only one person, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo, who amongst all the athletes has a high enough following. And that tells you, so out of the top 10 athletes in the world, regarding that, only one of them is a footballer. So now if Cristiano Ronaldo was to step off social media, then that would be a stance. But not putting pressure on Cristiano Ronaldo, but in general, those 10 athletes, be it from any sport, it still comes down to what you believe in. It still comes down to, standing up against something where bullying, social media bullying, racism, all these things that are happening online should stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if you take away that engagement that fans enjoy for the idiots or the bigots that are causing the abuse on social media. So therefore, if they stand with Thierry Henry and they stand by what he's putting out there, and I believe this as well, because people were saying, oh, well, why is he doing it? Is he doing it for him? Is he doing it for someone else? I remember Big Hass speaking to me about this one, saying he should stay in and get involved and stay fighting it. Sometimes taking that away from people, now they start to say, well, hold on a second. Not only will we report who does it, but if we see someone doing it, we won't laugh with them. We won't ignore. And that's another thing. Ignoring is just as much, just as bad as, taking part in all these things. So here's the thing with Thierry Henry doing that. If only one of those players is a footballer from the top 10 athletes in the world who've got all these followers and all these people, if they step off social media, now all of a sudden, the brands, the social media activity, the activations, the initiatives, all these things crash. So then you would have to do that. If they remove Trump off Twitter, then why wouldn't they remove the racist people off Twitter? And that's where I'm saying that Thierry Henry's stance will only stand if all these other athletes stand with him, step off social media. Trust me, we survived without it back in the day. We can survive with it again. It's not really, going to do much if Cristiano Ronaldo, if LeBron James, if Floyd Mayweather, all these people, if they step off social media and disengage that part. Why? Because you have the minority of people still abusing racism. Then we start to make, a movement. We start to actually stamp our feet. You get to hear people for what they stand for. So here's where I was saying that all these things only matter if they stand by Thierry Henry. Let me know what you think. 4215 at the slot, or do take a break, and I'll be right back after this. Enjoy, folks.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Yes, we always have a good time here at Pulse 95 Radio. As you saw, Amnia Salah just jumped in on the Instagram Live and just bringing the energy up here as well, right? So if you didn't know, I'm going to be there at the Red Bull event on Saturday, looking at the finals. We've got some fantastic things happening that day. Make sure you tune in. Come and support your boy as well. It's going to be on Facebook Live as well. You're going to be able to see the events happening, which is going to be great. And yeah, we're gonna do the show live from there on Saturday, which is going to be great. And also on Saturday at 3 p.m. on YouTube on pulse95radio.com, we're going to have the international women's team from Pakistan who are going to be talking about all the events that you've probably read in the news, seen on social media regarding the tournament and regarding the new and old regime and a lot of sports politics. So you're going to get a lot of juice on Saturday. We're almost there at full time, unfortunately. But saying that, we've had quite a good show. We've had Alyazia Alsuwaidi from Sharjah Women's Sport, the international UAE basketball player, who was talking to me earlier about the event, and Khorfakkan on April the 6th. So make sure you support that. We've also got the Red Bull event on Saturday, and we've also got the international football women's team who are going to be talking to me on YouTube, pulse95radio.com, 3 p.m. UAE time. There's one question I got for you guys here. We've got a bit of time, so I'm going to ask you. We all have goals, right? And goal setting is kind of really, really important when it comes down to everyone has their individual goals. But have we identified our why factor? Now, when I say that, as obvious as it sounds, sometimes saying it out loud or being able to think about it causes us to come to some sort of conclusion, whether it's validation or whether it's something we truly want. Will that relate to happiness? Now, let's say, for example, a common thing a lot of people come up to me and speak to me about is, let's say, weight loss. So my question is, why do you want to lose weight? Well, I want to lose weight because it's going to make me feel better. But here's the thing, even if you go into a calorie deficit and you watch your food and you train and everything, if you're not doing it the proper way, then even when you lose that weight, then it doesn't necessarily mean happiness. And this is something else that we were kind of covering. Then you come up to some people and you ask them, what do you want to do? Say, well, I want to gain muscle. So let's say the fellas out there say, oh, I want to gain muscle, man. I want to have a good chest, good arms. That's what I want to do. But then again, when you get there and you start to obviously up your protein intake and you start to lift heavier weights and you start to, find the right balance to get the muscle on, does that make you happy? So then we question, what is your why? And have you identified your why to why you want to achieve goals? There's so many factors in that point that I'm looking at and thinking, hold on a second. These things are all linked to what we see on social media, what we see on Netflix, what we see other people doing, which again takes us off our own track, because you're looking at the person next to you and you see a lot of people look at the sports icons, or even people who are still relevant nowadays and active nowadays, like Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. You look at him. Recently you saw Francis Ngannou as well, champion of the UFC, and you think, wow, I want to be like that. But how much time do they spend on themselves? How much effort do they put in? How much do they watch their food? Do they watch their sleep? Do they recover? Yesterday, I went back in the ice. For those that saw my Instagram, I went back in the ice yesterday. I went to see the Iceman himself, who was on the show on Pulse 95 Radio, and spent some time with him, focusing on my breathing, being able to do that, trying to stay in there long enough for me to say, you know what, that was good. There's so many factors where we had to do heat plus ice. So that was a new experience. The sauna, then the ice bath, which was there to kind of just flush a lot of things out of my brain, my mind, when it comes down to anxiety, when it comes down to handling high pressure situations. All these factors come from identifying your why. And that's why I'm asking the question, have you identified your why? 4215, Ittasalat or slide into my DMs at Omar Alduri. Sati, I see you jumping in on the Instagram as well. I do mine for health reasons, better sleep and de-stress. Fantastic. And Almas is asking Umnia, can she make cupcakes? Because Umnia has a very special place on the halftime show, especially between breaks. She comes in and shows some love, and then she gets the cookie emojis, as you know. Right, we have reached full time on the halftime show. Coming up next is the afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikael Atiyah. I've had a great week with you guys. I can't wait to see you guys soon. Remember, on Saturday at 3 p.m. on YouTube on Pulse 95 Radio, we're going to have the international women's team from Pakistan in football talking about what's going on out there. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. And then we've got the Red Bull event here in the UAE. So make sure you come and support. It's going to be on Facebook Live as well. The Neymar Juniors tournament is going to be happening 2021 at the Red Bull event. Have a great day, guys. I love you, and I send you all the peace and blessings. Enjoy.
If you liked this episode of The Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe. 95. Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.